Last week, the championship was clinched by Bobby Rafferty to become a three-time champion. However, in his interview last week, he did say that he expects a challenge going into next season, but I wouldn't be surprised if that challenge came tonight. It's the season finale, which is about to begin here at the dirt track at Charlotte. Nearby is the ZMAX drag strip, as well as the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the season finale of the Bootleg Racing League, wrapping up their 6th season of the Dirt Shootout Series, more specifically, and you'll be able to watch it all right here on the Global SimRacing channel. I'm Gary Weaver, and alongside me is co-commentator DJ Clark. Sean Ambrose is in the director's booth, and he's using cameras provided to us by Dougie Beer. And tonight, we took some cars out onto this track, and we'll see what these drivers are looking ahead for on our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Charlotte. No, not the big oval that hosts the World 600 and the Roval. We're heading just a short walk off of Turn 4 to the dirt track. The only thing shared between the two is the name. The stadium-style facility, built in the year 2000, has nearly 14,000 seats and plays host to dirt lake models, modified sprint cars, even monster trucks, and the prestigious World of Outlaws World Finals. On iRacing, it came to the service in 2018 with the Dirt Movement and plays host to several rounds of official iRacing sanctioned dirt events as well as thousands of private league events. At 0.4 of a mile, the turns are where the action is. 10 degrees of banking awaits the drivers as they haul off into Turn 1. The short radius of the corners makes slide jobs the name of the game, rewarding the bravest drivers to send it into the corner like the postman and wrestle track position away. Boasting a day version and a night version, this allows the full dynamic sky range that iRacing offers, providing for a beautiful visual that serves as a backdrop to the even better racing. Corners that you can stack cars in 3, 4, and even 5 wide for the bravest. Lots of action, deceptively fast, beautiful backdrops. All of these things add up to what makes this place unique. This has been our guide to the Charlotte Dirt Oval. I'm Brian Yazik. Enjoy the show.
And that is a look at our GSRC track guide here coming into the dirt track at Charlotte. For more information on this track, we'll pass it off to DJ Clark.
Thanks, Gary. Well, the dirt track at Charlotte is certainly one of the newer dirt tracks to pop up across America, but is one of the most beloved here on the iRacing service. It is a short little track, about 0.4 of a mile long, with banking about 2 to 12 degrees across. It is a little progressive. In these street stocks, one of the things that makes this track so spectacular is the fact that you can run them just about anywhere through those corners and still make it fast. Super low lines, super high lines, sliders, midline, crossovers. Anything can happen in these super wide open corners. So it's going to lead for some great racing tonight, and it may be similar to kind of what we saw at Kokomo a couple of weeks ago, where you may have 3 or 4 guys wide and they may not ever see each other.
That's going to be an absolutely incredible thing to look forward to coming into tonight. And we'll go to our race graphic, at least for our race information coming into tonight. Of course, around 11 of 11, the season finale here, as per usual, utilizing dirt street stock, a heat race format. 24 drivers will be making the feature. Everyone is all on the same setup. It looks like we'll be just about going into 4 heat races for tonight. But DJ, I think you have a look at our championship standings as of last week.
Well, you mentioned it off the top. First place, Bobby Rafferty. He has secured the championship. So he is your 2020 Season 4 champion in the Bootleg Racing League. But behind him, Steven Spees and Brandon Proudfoot, separated by a little bit. That could come into play with some bonus points, so keep an eye on that fight. But the real fight is 3rd through 5th. Brandon Proudfoot, J.R. Shepard, and Chris Davis, all within a stone's throw of each other. If one of those 3 guys has a bad race, they could certainly jump their way up the order. But I think the one to watch there, Gary, is going to be Brandon Proudfoot. We have seen him have an absolutely stellar run as of late.
He's doing absolutely incredible. All those drivers are there, and I did a little bit of early preparing and will be actually doing my best to update it throughout tonight. So we'll see how that goes. As well, taking a look at these drivers making their way around. 5 minutes left in the warm up sessions. That is Chris Davis, of course, as we just mentioned, 5th place. And he's got a relative shot just about at that 3rd place position, maybe 2nd place in points, but it's essentially 2 different battles, maybe even 3 different battles. It's Steven Speeds and Brendan Proudfoot battling for 2nd in points, J.R. Shepard and Chris Davis battling for 4th in points, and then a 3rd battle of Proudfoot, Shepard, and Davis, as DJ had just mentioned, going into this race. And look at those lap times, all within a tenth. The top 11 all within a tenth of a second of each other.
Yeah, it's going to be super, super close here, Gary. Most of those top times we did see getting set early, following a trend we've seen at a lot of these dirt tracks. The track starts to wear in a little bit, gets a little bit more difficult to work around here faster. As we jump on, that right there is Wilson working his way around in that purple 74, or 75 rather. He's going for that low line. You can see that bit of moist dirt down there, trying to get it out and let the car run wide. That is the most sort of logical fastest line around here, but we have seen some guys running mid to highs in practice.
And those mid to high lines have been coming in by a few drivers, especially one we just saw prior was Chris Davis. He was running the outside lane, a few other drivers as well. Brendan Myers, who we saw for a bit. So everyone trying the different lanes, trying to figure out what's working and what's not, especially as this track wears on during the final 3 minutes here, 3.5 minutes actually.
And we talk about it every week. That is the key to being a good dirt driver, is being able to read and predict that track. As you see Ryan Seneker there over-rotating the car a little bit, coming through turns 3 and 4, but able to get back going under his own power. It's all about reading the track, though, Gary. It's about figuring out where that grip is going to be, where you can get the car to go fastest at any given point. It's a lot like driving in the rain. You hear Formula One drivers or IndyCar drivers talking about just a sixth sense of knowing where that grip is. That same thing comes into play here.
Riding on board that this number 61 machine, as we just hear him playing with the throttle, essentially, hearing the engine. Those low revs are essentially a good thing, because the lower the revs, the more grip that you have, but it sounds like he is not lifting whatsoever.
No, and you can get away with that here at Charlotte. It's not a super tight bull ring like, say, a Fairbury or a Kokomo, that those turns are just so ever so tight. Here, you can take it flat out. The easiest way to do that flat out is going to be right in the line that we see Brendan Myers, Ryan, right here. So thank you for that transition. Running that high line, you can take that absolutely flat out. If you go down to a lower line, you may need to brush the brakes a little bit to get the car rotated. You may have to modulate the throttle ever so slightly. You're never going to fully come out of it, but you're going to be on throttle throughout the entire lap, no matter where you are.
And it's an absolutely amazing thing as well. Now, really the only time that you'd be out of the throttle is, well, when you're trying to stay off the back bumper of somebody or doing what Myers is doing, going to the inside lane, letting off a little bit on high corner entry, then trying to carry that momentum down to the inside.
Yeah, and that's the way you want to do it. Ostensibly, the way to sort of think about it in layman's terms is if you're on the throttle and turning the car on dirt, that's going to cause the car to rotate a little bit more. That'll make that rear end snap out a little bit more, get you whip around the corner faster. If you're off throttle, it's going to halt that rotation a little bit. So if you're starting to over-rotate the car, that's when you're going to back off of it. And what's really impressive that these guys can do so well is that constant modulation of the throttle pedal to keep the slide absolutely perfect. If you see a guy that gets that perfect arc through the corner, it's not because he knows how to turn the steering wheel. It's actually because he knows how to modulate his right foot just so.
Well, we are nearing the limit of 24 drivers, and we're going to be having a lot of heats tonight. So we'll give out a shout out here to, of course, Jim at Beaver eSports, who is bringing us tonight's heat races and has been for pretty much the entire season. And they are the official esports team of Jim Beaver and the General Tire Down and Dirty Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And you can follow him at JimBeaverEsports.com, or you can visit them on Facebook, Twitter, and even Instagram to keep up with their drivers in iRacing World Championships, private leagues, and so much more. And of course, another sponsor here, the Cruise Shop, who is a very much long time sponsor here, and they have been in operation since 1986. They're a team of highly experienced travel agents, and they have a huge passion for travel. and specialize in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney and family travel, groups, honeymoons, and weddings. They would love the opportunity to help you plan your next vacation. You can give them a call today at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. Remember that the cruise shop is dedicated to fulfilling their clients' dreams, one destination at a time. DJ, it's qualifying time now as warm-up has just wrapped up, so this is going to be something very much to look out for with all these new drivers here tonight.
It is a whole bunch of new guys coming into the series. 23, I believe, Gary, is our high watermark for the year. As you see there, the first drivers making their way out. That is Austin Belke on your screen, starting out in that red number 24.
Austin Belke, a long-time runner here in the series. Hopefully, well, a few technical gremlins essentially for him. Chris Davis out on track in the 07. My, oh my. Well, Davis actually ran, by the looks of this, just double checking here, relatively about 10th to 15th in practice. So he's going to be wrapping up his first qualifying time here momentarily.
He will be. As we start to see guys rolling in there, you can see Bobby Rafferty, to the surprise of nobody, putting in that 19.362. Chris Davis about a tenth of a second behind him. Shirosky, Hetherington, Belke all starting to line in times as these drivers start to work their way and put in some quality times.
You can keep up to date with who is where in the standings throughout tonight by using gsrc.tv. So that we can keep track of anybody and everybody or whoever your favorite driver is, especially if we accidentally miss him. But regardless, right now, those qualifying times still rolling in very slowly. About half the field is qualified. So a few drivers waiting those few moments, and sometimes that could always be good.
Sometimes it can be good and sometimes it could be bad, Gary. We've seen a lot of times as the track develops, it starts to get slower and slower. Steven Spies, for example, you see his first lap coming in at a 19.642. That's about 0.3 of a second off of our leader, Bobby Rafferty. So I think this may be not the best decision from these guys starting late.
Starting late usually does not go too well. Waiting, looking for a familiar name. That is the 22 Brendan Proudfoot, who I don't believe has even made an attempt. He has not yet made an attempt to qualify. Right when I say that, he might just about to be going out, and he will. So right now, your top 5 drivers are Bobby Rafferty, Billy Northcutt, Carl Kilgore, Chris Davis, and Justin Morton.
And second place in the points, Steven Spies sitting outside that top 5 in P6. That's a good time, though, from Billy Northcutt, as Carl Kilgore jumps up to the top of the charts, putting in a 19.306, besting Bobby Rafferty by about 0.06 of a second.
A great job by that number 21 machine, especially taking advantage of the fact that, well, the 7 machine is pretty much done. J.R. Shepard has now moved up to that 4th place position. Wrapping up qualifying time now is the 00 Billy Northcutt. He goes up to 2nd place. Bobby Rafferty is going to be shuffled out he's going to be shuffled out of the top 3. Brendan Proudfoot now up to 3rd place. So your top 3, Carl Kilgore, Billy Northcutt, now Brendan Proudfoot. Rafferty got shuffled to 4th. He may get shuffled to 5th place if J.R. Shepard gets a better lap time here.
Shepard's taking about a mid-line, trying to make that work through the corners. Really surprising to see Rafferty that far off the pace. But this track is just, it's evolving and proving me wrong a little bit. Shepard crosses the line here with a 19.487. That's about 0.07 of a second off of his best time. So he is unable to improve. As there you see, that is Brandon Proudfoot working his way around the track, trying to get some things going, as Proudfoot goes to the top of the charts with a 19.290.
A staggeringly impressive lap time from Brendan Proudfoot. Rafferty not shuffled out of the top 5, well, top 4 in this case, by J.R. Shepard. So one great qualifying session this has been. And now at this point, we're just waiting for Ron Snyder to make any laps if he does choose to do so. With a minute left, Kenny Kibbe still trying to make some rounds here.
Kibby working up on that Heinlein. He's got to be careful. One of the little intricacies of the iRacing circuit, if you service, is if you make contact with that outside wall, it doesn't count for your lap. But it looks like he's got it under control. Unable to improve on that last lap. Currently seated in 12th. Goes down the backstretch. He's really trying to make that middle outside lane work. Getting out there, going to put the power down hard. Coming onto the main straight. Is he able to improve his time? No! That's about 5 thousandths of a second off. Kibby's going to stay 12th.
My oh my, what a qualifying session this was. Absolutely incredible. And well, we're about to get into our for the first time this season, I believe, the first of 4 heats. So this is going to be absolutely wild, and it's still the same format. Everybody is just about to make it in, with 23 drivers scheduled. Race 22, unless Ron Snyder is able to get back, but it will be 6 drivers for 4 heats. And it's going to be something to look ahead for. This first heat especially being started off by Brendan Proudfoot in the first place position. Second place being J.R. Shepard. Brendan Myers starts in 3rd. Watch out for him. John Wilson starts 4th. 5th place is going to be Austin Belke, and Ryan Seneker rounds out that 6-car field.
That top 3, Gary, is going to be awfully fun to watch. Proudfoot, Shepard, and Myers all have really proved they've got some good speed over the course of this season. As you see, they're just waiting for the drivers to grid up. Will be interesting, as always, that lead driver starting on pole does have lane choice, so it'll be one of the storylines to follow if Proudfoot decides to stay on that inside lane, moves himself to the outside, and how the rest of these heat leaders will do so as well.
Right now, coming into these heats, it's going to be the top 5 drivers that will be getting points. And while this seemingly at the moment may be a little bit weird to mention, well, everyone is still in the same positions that they were in the point standings as they were coming into tonight after qualifying. Just a few differences, really, but nothing too much as of yet.
Well, we'll have to see how these things shake out. Shepard, Proudfoot, 2 of the guys that are in some of those battles we talked about early. So if they're able to keep everything nice and on the level here as we start to roll off, looks like John Wilson and Austin Belke are going to be no starts for us tonight.
Right now, Brendan Proudfoot looks to be staying on the inside lane at the moment. He does have until, I believe, about the next lap, essentially, to make any lane choices that he wants to. Yep, there he goes. Right when I said that, he moves up to the outside lane. J.R. Shepard will move down to the inside lane. Unfortunately for at least Austin Belke and John Wilson, for whatever reasons, they were not able to grid. They do have a chance, I believe, in the B main, though.
Yeah, they'll be able to come back to it. Now, it's interesting thinking about what Proudfoot's doing here. He clearly thinks that outside lane is going to be the fastest way around. May just think there's a little bit more grip on the exit of turn 4. That always plays into it, talking about those mega starts we've seen him and Bobby Rafferty make over the course of this season. But they wind their way onto the backstretch now. Pace truck pulls in, and we're ready to go racing.
It's going to be the first heat race of the season finale, the first of 4. It's going to be led by Brendan Proudfoot up on the outside lane. He goes right on the loud pedal in the middle of turn 4. Green flag flies. It's a 6-lap heat race. Top 3 advance, and the rest go into the B main to see where they get sorted out. And just like that, Proudfoot took the best opportunity and the best line. J.R. Shepard going to have to take some notes as he leads the way, that 22 machine.
Yeah, that 22 of Brendan Proudfoot taking a super, super high line all the way through 1 and 2 and doing it again here. And that is just almost hitting into the wall with his rear wing there. But taking more of a midline, I would say, through 3 and 4 as he jumps back up to the high line. Clearly, he sees some grip up there. So all these drivers behind him going to start to watch it. It's behind him. Shepard thinking about making a move, but nothing really doing quite yet.
Nearly halfway. Next time by, at least it will be. Fastest lap set by J.R. Shepard, so that track surface is definitely helping out that number 98, especially with that low line and that low exit. He just has to be able to carry that momentum off, and he's being able to put on a wonderful challenge.
He's really making Brandon Proudfoot do some sweating here. We've talked about start-finish line positions a couple of times as he ducks back into line. This one at Charlotte is where you traditionally think it is. It's right in the dead middle, so think about that when you're coming out of that last corner. We watch Shepard. He's now about a car length back of Proudfoot as we cross over here, 2 laps to go.
That's exactly what I was about to bring up, is that start-finish line position, as we have a lap and a half to go now in the back straightaways. In a way, it seems to be more off turn 4, but, well, it's going to be helping out somebody regardless, so we'll see. And it might be helping out the 22 or the 98. We'll see here on this final lap as Proudfoot right up against the outside wall. Jared Shepard trying to find whatever momentum that he can get, but that track surface has worn away. Low line being taken by the 22 of Proudfoot. He'll advance immediately to the feature, along with second place being Jared Shepard and third place being Brennan Myers. Austin Belke and Ryan Seneker able to get out on track. They'll round out 4th and 5th.
Bit of a statement last lap there from Brandon Proudfoot, putting in that 19.3, very much saying, yeah, I know that you may be challenging me, but I've still got more speed in the tank. So I'd be a little bit worried by that as we grid up for the second heat race here. Is going to be led by Carl Kilgore, followed by Jason Best. Steven Spies all the way down in 3rd place. Low starting position for him. Chris Haslett behind him in 4th. Joe Segala in 5th. And Todd Hetherington in 6th place.
Steven Spies, this is going to help out Spies a significant amount. Anyone else he's running with here in this heat race is essentially not really battling him in the points, so it's a great job for Spies, well, a great thing to look forward to for Spies, but at the same time, he's starting in 3rd, and it looks like, yeah, a few drivers, unfortunately, not being able to grid in time, but again, that's what the B main is for, so drivers that do miss the heat races, they do have a second chance in that B main to essentially set out where they will be starting in that feature event in that second half of the field.
So this will effectively put Steven Spies on the pole here, with Chris Haslett just outside of him and Joe Segala behind him in what is ostensibly 3rd place. This means that all of these drivers will advance. It's now just for starting position in the A main.
This is going to be a very interesting call here. Steven Spies staying on the inside lane. Might be willing to at least give that inside lane a shot here for that inside lane. So going to be looking ahead for that. Top 3 here will be advancing. Again, the B main is going to be available for drivers who were not able to grid up for these heat races. So nothing really to worry about, but Spies, I'm pretty sure, is just hoping that he has a wonderful run, but he does have a challenge in the form of Hazlett. They are scheduled at least to start 3rd and 4th, already rubbing doors, treading a bit of paint. Steven Spies goes down and away, and just like that, I think Hazlett may have been in the lower gear actually as they go down and away.
Yeah, Hazlett just looked like he was absolutely asleep at the wheel nowhere as Joe Segala ekes on by him as we spread out now into a 1-2-3 single file order. That is Steven Spies, your leader, Joe Segala behind him, and Joe Haslett way behind, looking at about 2.4 seconds, 2.5 off the back of Joe Segala.
So if Steven Spies does finish in this 1st place position, he'll be 20 points ahead of Brendan Proudfoot, and at that point it'll come down to the feature event on who would be getting 2nd place in points. But, well, I wouldn't put it too far, at least, because Joe Segala is looking to change all of that.
Joe Segala is looking very, very racy tonight. New livery on that car for him, looking very nice with those red rims in particular. He's going to try to go to an outside line here a little bit, see if he can get anything doing there. He's got momentum down the straight, not enough to make a full challenge, but he's got something here.
Halfway this time by, he's got that inside lane as his advantage here as he tries to look off turn number 2. Down to the inside again, 2 laps to go. Segala tries to get that car, with that momentum on the inside. Nearly over-rotated mid-corner, but he's just able to hang on to it.
He's able to hang on to it, almost over-rotates again, forced to get out of the loud pedal a little bit. That's going to allow for Steven Spies to get back up into the lead. But Segala really able to make lower lines work there, so good for him as here comes Spies to take the white flag.
Joe Segala trying to look for one last challenge, at least give a little bit of an upset in the points and say, hey, I do have potential to be challenging. But the fact that Segala was able to challenge it in the first place shows how great he is. So coming into this feature event, it's Steven Spies in first, Joe Segala second. And third place going to be Chris Hazlett, but rather finishing this second heat race is what I should have said instead of coming into the feature event. But they do advance regardless. So Spies essentially officially now with a 20-point advantage to Brendan Proudfoot. But again, it's still something to look ahead for going into this third heat race, where it's going to be a lot to look at, with Billy Northcutt scheduled to start in that first place position. Second place being Chris Davis. Keep an eye on him in this heat race. Gabe Gladfelter starts off in third. Fourth place, Matt Shanoski. Fifth place, Jeffrey Harden. And sixth place, scheduled to be Ron Snyder, but unfortunately it looks like he will not be able to make tonight's event.
Yeah, everybody looking like they're having a little bit of connection issues, but they will be able to regrid, as we've said, for the B main. But as we watch this, I think it's going to be very interesting. We saw Gladfelter have a good race last time out. He could go to repeat. Davis obviously has come on very strong in the second half of this season. A couple of little mistakes here and there, but overall very good performance. So look for him to really try to do what he can in this heat race.
The suspense is pretty much incredible. So we'll look at this from a what-if perspective. Well, in this case, what if... I should actually double-check this just to make sure before I miscalculate this off the top of my head. But what if Chris Davis does finish in this first-place position? Well, he will be 14 points back from J.R. Shepard to get that fourth-place position. So again, it's still close between these drivers.
Oh, it is an absolute razor's edge of an advantage one way or the other. Nothing between any of them at all, which is really just a testament to the absolute level of competition we have seen this season in the Bootleg Racing Series. Yes, Rafferty has wrapped up the championship a week early, but it has been by no means a cakewalk for him or for anybody else on the grid.
Gabe Gladfelter will be leading the field to this green flag, and he'll be remaining on that inside lane just to be safe than sorry. But right now it's going to be something to again keep an eye on as this track stays worn down. Turns 1 and 2 look relatively okay compared to 3 and 4, and that's definitely going to be something to look ahead for in the feature event. Third heat race, one more heat race remains after this. Gabe Gladfelter in the 28 has the field in control, and he goes down and away. Green flag flies, although a great start on the outside by Chris Davis in the 07.
Looked a little bit there like Gladfelter was just hesitant getting on the throttle, and Davis able to take full advantage of that, pulls ahead down the backstretch using the outside line to gain a little bit of momentum there. Starts to run a little bit of a modified slider line there, as you see behind him. That's Matt Shanoski getting real friendly with the wall. But Gabe Gladfelter, a little bit of a timid start, but he's keeping right up with Chris Davis, now running the low line through 1 and 2, keeping Davis very, very honest.
And they're doing an incredible job battling side by side, but actually that's more the two behind. At least the 20 and the 07 were side by side. Now that sorted themselves out, but Harden and Shanoski side by side battling for that third place position just to give themselves a little bit of relief essentially going into the feature event. Harden gets by, slides right up in front of the 94 rather, but Shanoski fights back on the outside. Harden doing a wonderful job utilizing that inside lane.
Yeah, Harden's really one of the only guys we've seen tonight to be able to run that inside lane to perfection. And of course, as we say it here, he jumps back to the outside. As we've got here only about, we'll have 2 laps to go at the line. Davis really commanding this field. Gladfelter getting a little bit up into the wall, but Davis starting to pull away here, eke out a little bit after an early challenge from Gabe Gladfelter.
That early challenge, nothing has really happened since, but Gladfelter still just about keeping pace in an odd sense, at least enough pace as he can. Slides up into the corner, great entry, and the Harden and Shanoski still continue to battle with this white flag lap. So keep an eye on those two, maybe even in the front two. We'll see exactly what happens here as they exit turn number 2 up onto the back straightaway, being led by the 07 and Chris Davis. Gladfelter tries the very inside lane. Harden does so to protect. It could be a drag race coming to the start-finish line. It will not be, but Davis, Gladfelter, and Harden going into the feature. Shinosky will go into the B main to see where he gets sorted out. What a wonderful little run that was.
It was a really, really impressive run from Gabe Gladfelter, not letting Chris Davis breathe easy whatsoever. He's definitely going to want to be watched that I'm going to want to keep an eye on during the A main, as he's one of the few drivers we said during that heat race that could make that inside lane work. So as this track starts to wear in a little bit, look for Gladfelter down on the inside. He may have something.
And the final heat race of the night, it's looking to... wrong one for me. There we go. It's going to be Bobby Rafferty. I was looking at the wrong one. I was a bit confused for a second. Bobby Rafferty, Justin Morton, first and second. Third place is Kenny Kibbe. Fourth place, Robbie Robinson. And fifth place being Bobby Hayes. So this is pretty much going to be the thing to very much look at. See which line Rafferty chooses. If he chooses the outside lane or remains on the inside.
And remember, both he and Brandon Proudfoot are teammates, so there may be a little bit of communication about how Brandon felt about the start. Maybe try to transmit that to Bobby, but as of right now, at least looks like Bobby's sticking to the inside. Does have until about turn 1 of the next lap to make the choice, so if he makes the move, it'll be here on the main straightaway.
And considering how much the track surface has changed and the fact that it's the fourth heat race essentially, well, by the looks of it, it is going to be Rafferty staying on that inside lane, not really trying to make any decisions to really, he might even be experimenting for all we know, trying the inside lane just to see how this works here. So pace truck pulls off, and this is going to be the final heat race of the night before we go into a bit of warm-up. In the meantime, the 7 of Rafferty, your champion as of last week, brings the field to the green flag. Heat race number 4 is underway. And just like that, I was expecting Morton to go to the inside. Relatively, everybody stays up top, although Kibbe slides down to the inside, gets great burst momentum, but not enough to challenge Morton just yet.
Yeah, but if he's able to make that inside line work again, he may make things very difficult for Justin Morton. Bobby Rafferty, though, doing what Bobby Rafferty does best, and that is leading this heat race here, pulling away, running that high lane, as we see behind him Robbie Robinson diving down to the inside. Didn't work nearly as well as it did for Kenny Kibbe. He's going to slot back into line as they dive into 3.
Morton trying to challenge, trying to utilize a bit of about lane and a half lower that Bobby Rafferty is running, or compared to Bobby Rafferty, at least in turns 3 and 4, but everyone riding up on the top side.
That looks like it's really the preferred lane right now. We'll have to see what develops as we watch the next heat race, the B main, to see if that continues to be. And you can see it there on your screen, that low lane really starting to get worn in. But up front, Justin Morton really starting to put the pressure to Bobby Rafferty. Only about 3/4 of a car length in between them. Rafferty gets a little bit more momentum, make that a full car length as they dive into turn 3 here. Morton going up into a higher line, Rafferty taking a midline.
And that midline has been helping Rafferty as we come to 2 laps to go. That high lane, not so much for Justin Morton. So the high lane, very preferred in turns 1 and 2. 3 and 4, however, it seems to be just about the mid lane, just about.
Yeah, that's what it looks like it is now Morton's going to try for that mid lane, carries a lot of speed into the corner, has to check himself up a little bit. That's going to harm him out corner exit. Rafferty there takes the white flag, has about a 2, maybe 2.5 car length lead over Morton. Going to try to close. Kenny Kibbe staying consistently in 3rd. That's your top 3, followed by Bobby Hayes and Robbie Robinson.
Final corner for the final heat of the season. Bobby Rafferty rounds the corner, finishes in 1st place. Justin Morton 2nd, Kenny Kibbe 3rd, Bobby Hayes and Robbie Robinson, just about Carling separated them for 4th and 5th place. They'll head over to the B main. This is going to be the last one before we head to a quick warm-up session and before the virtual water trucks take to the track and reset the entire surface before pretty much our season finale in general. So right now it's looking to be Ryan Seneker in 1st, Carl Kilgore in 2nd, 3rd place Matt Shinosky, 4th place Bobby Hayes, 5th place Austin Belke, with Jason Best rounding out 6th.
In 7th is going to be Billy Northcutt, followed by Robbie Robinson in 8th, John Wilson 9th, Todd Hetherington in 10th, and Ron Snyder 11th. But once again, we've got a bunch of guys failing to launch off here. Some problems, it looks like, with the software, preventing what had to be a good race here. The final guys out are going to be Bobby Hayes, Ryan Seneker, Matt Shinosky, and Robbie Robinson. Those are the only 4 able to make the flag.
Well, as things say, you really can't fix the internet. You can try and do the best you can, but, well, these things do happen. Essentially, chalk it up as, in a sense, near mechanical issues. But Ryan Seneker, though, at least does have a chance to show his pace. Matt Shinosky as well. This is going to be quite interesting regardless.
It certainly will be. It'll be a good race no matter what, and well, the benefit to these 4 drivers is going to be that they're going to see what a super worn-in track like this will be. This is about the state it's going to be 30, 40 laps into the A main, so they're going to have a little bit of advantage, but right now it's Ryan Seneker getting ready to lead it off.
Seneker in the 61 machine has chosen the inside lane. Up on the outside lane is going to be Bobby Hayes. Shinosky and Robinson round out that second row. Green flag flies here for the final heat of the season. 10 laps. Pretty much everybody should be able to make it to the feature, but this is going to be a great run from the 94 Shinosky up on the inside lane.
Yeah, Shinosky's really making that inside line work. Ryan Seneker had a good run there. Is he going to be able to hold it with the momentum? He is. Gets a little bit chippy there with Robbie Robinson. They're going to go 3 wide into 4 with Bobby Hayes sitting in the background thinking about making it 4 wide. He and Ryan Seneker get in a little bit of contact from Robbie Robinson into the lead. Matt Shinosky now down to the inside.
Shinosky trying to utilize that inside lane to the best of his ability, as well as Hayes there for a moment, but right now it's about split. I was about to say 3 drivers running the outside lane, but everyone is choosing different lanes. Great job by Robinson to sneak his way out front. Shinosky still stuck, well, still trying to use that inside lane, but right now with that run through turns 3 and 4 nearly over rotating, might be time to try and use that top side, and yes he does, right up in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that middle lane really starting to get worn in through 3 and 4, getting harder and harder to find grip. But Robbie Robinson using the slider line there, using the grip to get a little bit of loose and then drive it right into the cushion. So good job from him. He's starting to pull out a big gap here of about 1.4 seconds to Hayes and Shinosky behind him. Shinosky goes for Hayes rather goes for a great slider. Shinosky not able to respond right away.
Right now, it's a great side-by-side battle between the two. Shinosky on the inside and Bobby Hayes up on the outside lane as Robbie Robinson just continues to very, very quickly utilize this and just say, well, you know what? I'm going to use this inside lane and I'm going to pull away as these two continue to battle. And there they are, still side-by-side a lap later.
And Gary, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the broadcast with just how wide this track is. You can be running side by side for the entire lap and you will never see each other, which is exactly what these guys do. There, Shinosky throws a little bit of a slider to try to hold up Bobby Hayes. Hayes not having any of it now. He dives down to the inside, trying to make something happen. Goes for a slider himself. Here comes Shinosky with the crossover. Gets it done. It's a drag race down to the line.
A beautiful battle between these two, and they all still make it into the feature regardless. But what a great job that these two are doing. Look at this, Hayes back down to the inside lane now. Will he try a slide job? He might, he does. Just cuts off Shinosky. Shinosky still has about a lane and a half. He gets forced up into the outside wall, and they still continue to go side by side with 2 laps remaining.
Absolutely nothing between them there as they cross the line, and there you see it again. What's really leading to the crossovers and the sliders coming through 3 and 4 is a bad exit out of 1. Now it's going to be Shinosky's turn. Try to go for the slider, doesn't get it, under rotates the car ever so slightly, but is able to keep Bobby Hayes at bay. But Hayes is going to dive down to the inside here as we had take the white flag.
Robbie Robinson definitely has this win in the bag as these two continue to battle. We'll expect that in just a few moments, but Robinson through turns 3 and 4, he'll come across and win heat race number 4, and just behind him, it's a drag race to the line for second place. Half a car length separates Bobby Hayes finishing second. Third place, Matt Shinosky. Ryan Seneker with a great view of that battle in 4th place.
Yeah, Seneker very much in that popcorn position, just able to take everything in. But now, you mentioned it earlier, Gary, it's time for those virtual water trucks to come back out on track. They have reset the track surface, gotten a little bit more moisture into the dirt, and now we've got a little bit of a 5-minute practice session. Let all these cars out on track and have some fun.
And now that's going to be, again, the track state is going to be, well, pretty much say goodbye to what it looks like now, essentially, because that's going to be very much something to look ahead for. As well, as we await the feature event, I'm going to be trying to do some quick calculations here, see exactly how many drivers will be starting in the feature event, and really how many laps are going to be running, or how many laps are going to be ran, I should say, in that feature event for each individual driver. The fun part, really, in my case, for dirt racing.
Yeah, there you go, the master of numbers, Gary, over here taking care of it as you look up on that GSRC timing pylon. Brandon Proudfoot currently setting the pace, but Bobby Rafferty just now pips him, able to get about 10th and a half over him. Robbie Robinson now coming in right behind Rafferty, under a 10th of a second, only about 25 thousandths of a second. Speed's currently back in 5th. J.R. Shepard, Justin Morton, Brendan Myers, Haslip, Gladfelter, and Chris Davis rounding out your top 10 as you see somebody getting a little well acquainted there with those inside tractor tires and ended up on their lid.
Yeah, that I was going to say, with running that inside lane, 680 laps, by the way, for the amount of drivers that we have, about 17 drivers going into the feature event. 680 laps, 40 laps per driver. But in the meantime, I was going to say earlier on when you mentioned the DJs that running pretty much any line, yes, you can, but that inside lane is something I would not recommend. And those tires on the inside lane are wide. They're not as vicious essentially as some other dirt tracks if you can since you can pretty much run the inside lane wonderfully, but it's still a bit of a risk if you try and take that inside just a bit too much.
Well, and the gentleman we're watching on your screen right now, Brandon Proudfoot, he was one of the guys who was able to make that work really well at Kokomo, which I would argue does have some of the meanest tractor tires in the world. Those things pretty sure came off a big combine in the fields around Kokomo, Indiana. But as we watch their way here, working and fighting their way around the track, Rafferty still leads everybody on track. Robbie Robinson right behind him. J.R. Shepard, Gabe Glattenfelter, and Brandon Proudfoot, your top 5. So not a whole lot in between these guys, only about 0.2 of a second separating first from 7th.
And it's just like the practice session. It's just like the practice session that we saw. The first 11 drivers were separated by 1/10 of a second, and now it's just absolutely amazing to see the differences. But looking at the drivers, really intervals in between each other, really nobody is over. Really, at most, it's just about 0.5 in between individual drivers. But overall, it is a very widespread difference because of the current track state.
Yeah, there is a lot of these drivers putting in their best times early in the session. Although Brandon Proudfoot and Joe Segala putting green laps in on their last lap. But I think what this is going to mean is you watch just how close these guys are able to really battle around the track, Gary. We're going to be in for one heck of a feature race tonight. This is going to be close racing. Everybody's relatively evenly matched. This track is a real favorite of drivers, as it can kind of suit whatever strength you want it to. If you're a low line guy, you can make that work. If you're a high line guy, you can make that work. Sliders, everything. It's a really open-ended track.
And it's a great track when it's under the lights, especially as a lot of the drivers in groups here around the racetrack. In turns 3 and 4, be riding on board with that number 73 machine of Chris Hazlett, with Brendan Myers just lurking right there in the inside lane, just about to get by, contact made, but again, all in good fun. But it is amazing to see the differences here, not only of course with it being under the lights, which that may also have something to do with it being the weather, but as well as the fresh track.
Yeah, it's about 63 degrees, 64 degrees Fahrenheit, so relatively cool night for dirt racing. That means that there's going to be a decent amount of moisture that retains into the dirt tonight. You're not going to see a lot of evaporation going on, so that'll help grip to stay there for a little bit longer, but not too long. By the end of this race, with as many cars as we have out here, you are still going to see a massive amount of degradation on the track. By the end of the race, it's going to be very hard to find a good clean line.
And we'll see who exactly can find that good clean line coming into the feature event. It's going to be 40 laps under the lights here at the dirt track at Charlotte, the final race of the season. The championship has already been clinched by Bobby Rafferty, but again, it's still between second, third, and fourth, and fifth. Steven Spieth, Brendan Proudfoot, J.R. Shepard, and Chris Davis. So if this is going to be, if there's ever a time really to see who's going to be sorted where and really to predict that, well, this feature event is going to be something for sure. Brendan Proudfoot starts off on the front row. Second place, it's going to be Steven Spieth. That helps him greatly, as Chris Davis will start third, Bobby Rafferty fourth, J.R. Shepard will start in fifth place, Joe Segala starting sixth, and seventh place being Gabe Gladfelter, eighth place Justin Morton, ninth place being Brendan Myers, and 10th place being rounded out by Chris Hazelip.
11th place is going to be Jeffrey Harden, followed by Kenny Kibbe, Robbie Robinson, and Bobby Hayes behind him, and then Matt Shinuski and Ryan Seneker, the last of who I believe looks like they are going to be gridded here tonight as the other drivers unable to connect.
And it's really unfortunate, but again, essentially could be, in a sense, equated to mechanical failures. It always happens. It's random. You don't expect it. Of course, it's frustrating, but it's not exactly the joy of racing. Well, it's part of racing. We'll go with that. As Brendan Proudfoot, Steven Spieth is lying back. I'm seeing that Steven Spieth is expecting Proudfoot maybe to go up to the outside. Yep, there he goes. Spieth right down to the inside lane. So this is going to be a very exciting race, regardless.
No, it is, and I think certainly seeing those two teammates of Proudfoot and Rafferty both on the outside, that'd give me a little bit of pause, but I like the odds of who's going to be coming up the inside on him. That's Steven Spieth, Chris Davis, and J.R. Shepard, all 1, 2, 3 on that inside, so a real list of heavy hitters trying to make a move to the inside on these opening laps.
And double checking the starting grid, well, this is essentially your top 5 in the point standings, all fighting for physical positions on track now. So by the end of this, it's going to be probably, as for all we know, it could be the same as we came into. It could be the same thing that we saw coming into tonight. But, well, it's dirt racing. There's always a chance at some type of change and some type of factor playing into it. And we'll see if Brendan Proudfoot can utilize the outside lane. Green flag flies up on the outside lane. It's the 22 of Proudfoot as he leads for the final race of the season. 40 laps. Steven Spieth immediately slides up to mid-track. Rafferty follows Proudfoot up on the outside lane, side by side for second, 7 and 55.
And here goes Spieth again, trying for a little bit of a slide job, showing his tail to Bobby Rafferty, and it looks like it works as you can slot Steven Spieth up into second. He's going to continue to run that mid to low lane, really making it work, but I think Rafferty's got some good momentum, and now the momentum shifts back to Spieth. These two are absolutely neck and neck, and right ahead of them is Brendan Proudfoot. Great little triple there, as there goes Spieth, getting a little wiggly, but he's able to catch it and keep going.
In fact, I think Spieth probably moved up actually just a little bit, slid up into the left front of Bobby Rafferty, nearly got turned, but both of them kept it forward. That's incredible. In the background, J.R. Shepard gets almost around Chris Davis for fourth place. Slide job right on the 07. They just hang on to it as everyone scatters in reaction. Steven Spieth, however, challenging for the lead from that inside lane. My oh my, it's two separate battles going on here. It's absolutely incredible, DJ.
And what's really incredible, Gary, is just how Spieth is able to get the car turned mid-corner. Common logic thinks that you come off the corner on a high line and that's going to give you more momentum, but watch here. He gets it turned. You think he's going to lose all this momentum, and then right about there, he's able to put the power down just right and gets massive amounts of momentum to keep right up there with Brendan Proudfoot. You see Bobby Rafferty setting the fastest lap as now Rafferty dives out of the inside. They're 3 wide.
And just like that, now it's 2 wide, almost between teammates. Rafferty and Spieth utilizing that inside lane. Proudfoot the odd one out. Spieth wants to very much secure that second place position in the point standings as much as possible. Coming into this, it was a 20-point difference, and while the points are relatively about minus 3 points per position, the lower you go down the field, well, Steven Spieth still wants that slight advantage. He chooses not to slide up, and I think that's a good show of sportsmanship there. Spieth is still allowing Proudfoot to utilize that outside lane, although I don't think it would be for long. And just like that, Spieth finally secures the lead here at the dirt track at Charlotte on lap 8.
This is an incredible bit of driving here from Steven Spies. He just absolutely has this track down to perfection. As behind him, the teammates really start to duke it out. That's Rafferty and Proudfoot behind him, just battling tooth and nail in this little sort of flying V that we're seeing action all the way around the field as we go back in the line.
We're going to be looking back at the entire rest of the field. Look at this. Kenny Kibbe. I'm seeing even Robbie Robinson. Myers sends it up the middle 3 wide. Kibbe chooses to follow as well. What a amazing mid-pack battle. This is all for, I believe, looking back, just double check, 6th place essentially. 4 wide through turn 4. Contact is made. Gabe Gladfelter really got turned by, I believe, that was Robbie Robinson, but they all hang on to it.
This is just incredible action. That is Joe Segala working down on the inside of Kenny Kibbe, trying to make anything happen here. Brendan Myers to the outside of him, Gabe Gottenfelter behind him. Really, really just intense battling all the way around. You make one little mistake and you're going to get passed by 2, maybe 3 cars, but they're able to keep it nice and clean. Kibbe going to the outside, starting to press a little bit of an advantage. Segala catching the car ever so slightly mid-corner. That's going to allow Gladfelter to come back a little bit. He's going to try to press his luck around the outside here. Myers lurking behind him. Robbie Robinson right behind him.
It is absolutely wild right now for this mid-pack field. Contact is made. Myers early rotation from contact with Gladfelter, but he's able to hang on to it and still challenge Gladfelter off of turn number 2. If that is a save, that isn't a save really, I don't know what is. That is an incredible use of momentum by Brendan Myers.
That may be the save of the year that we've seen, as now you see going 3 wide through turn 1. Gladfelter and Myers make contact once again. Looks like Gladfelter had to check up a little bit. That's going to allow Robbie Robinson to take a little interest in what's going on. He's going to poke his nose in, try to make it 3 wide again, and does make it 3 wide. Coming down turns 3 and 4. He's got great momentum, able to get around Gladfelter and lead across the line with Myers there. Woo, it's getting tight.
Justin Morton shooting the gap through on the outside lane, may even get around Robbie Robinson off turn number 2 if all is said and done. Almost. What a impressive battle. Great job by everybody to still essentially give space and enough to recover, enough to run. And Justin Morton is utilizing all of that outside lane to run to get by Robbie Robinson. But Robinson off turn number 2, much like Steven Spies that we've seen, uses that middle lane, and it's just enough to keep that momentum.
Yeah, he's just got those tires digging in at exactly the right point of exit off of corner 2 to keep the momentum flowing and going really, really well. But now it looks like Morton's got a good run, but no, once again, that momentum in mid-corner able to keep Robbie Robinson just ahead of him.
Great use of the onboard shot there as they still go side by side. Still neither driver giving an inch.
We've got a change for the lead here
yeah,
as Bobby Rafferty is back around Steven Spies.
This race is absolutely wild, but yeah, Rafferty able to get around Spies, but Spies is just about to challenge back. It's battles all over the track here. Spies looks to the inside.
Spies goes down to the inside. The 2 teammates working the outside lane again, trying to make something happen. But Spies gets that good run. It looks like his luck may be starting to run out on that middle line, however, as now Proudfoot looks like he's got a little bit of advantage, has to check up a little bit. Spies getting a little bit cockeyed coming out of the corner. You can see just how close they are from this onboard for Brandon Proudfoot.
Running on board, just seeing how close these drivers get, seeing the handiwork of Proudfoot. You are essentially never in a straight line almost. Look at Proudfoot moving to the inside lane, trying to use all of that fresh dirt up there, or down there really, on the inside lane, but was not enough through turns 3 and 4. They swap lanes just about on the entry of turn number 1, although that exit for Spies may have not been enough. Now he closes off the door, down to the inside goes Proudfoot.
Proudfoot really hugging that inside lane. We saw him doing it earlier this year on some of the bull rings, but the momentum in Spies' favor, that's going to give him out to about a car length advantage by the time they dive into turn 1. Both drivers now going to the outside line as Rafferty starts to pull away. He's got about a 5 car length lead, but there is absolutely nothing between Proudfoot and Spies.
Each driver still hanging on to it, still battling as much as possible. And it's still going. It's just about halfway over, just under halfway actually. 19 laps to go. 18 the next time by we cross the start-finish line. And if this somehow isn't a reason on why you should join the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series for dirt racing, I don't know what would be, because this is absolutely incredible here from what we've seen tonight.
This is what dirt racing is all about, Gary. As you see Speeds now being able to hold his advantage, that slide job from Brandon Proudfoot not being able to work as well as he'd hoped, not getting the crossover. Everybody taking to that mid lane. Man, you can see just how rubbered in that track is. Those drivers starting to put their rear tires on that narrow bit of grippy dirt still left on the outside lane. Everybody reverting back to the high side. As we've got a little bit of contact in the back, I think everybody's going to keep going, so we'll stay here. But now Proudfoot trying to make something work, going on a little bit of a higher lane than Speeds, but not enough to make it do.
Right now, someone who's just quietly sitting here in fourth place position is J.R. Shepard, and he's just watching this all play out. He's just running his line right now, just running his race. He's essentially in no man's land. There he is, just way in the background. But right now, someone who's definitely not in the background, at least looking to put somebody in the background, is Proudfoot, looking to put Speeds in the background. But we still have a midfield battle going on here between all these positions. This is Justin Morton, Joe Segala, as well as Gabe Gladfelter, 3 wide off turn number 4. A great run to the start-finish line. This looks to be just about for that 8th place position. It is.
I thought for sure that Justin Morton had that, but it looks like he got the power down just a little bit too early. The rear end slid out, so now it's going to be a one-way fight there between Segala and Gladfelter as they go to opposite sides of the track trying to make something happen. Looks like it's going to be barely advantage to Joe Segala, but that outside momentum really working for Gabe Gladfelter. You can see it there, just him powering out of turn 2. Segala able to fight back ever so slightly. Morton lurking in the background.
A point that I was going to make earlier before I rightfully got distracted by these incredible battles here going on in the midfield. So that again, Bradford, you did say last week he was looking for, he wouldn't be surprised for a challenge next season. And again, I mentioned as well at the top of the show is that I wouldn't be surprised if it came tonight. Steven Speeds showed that he does have the ability to challenge here, given the right track, the right conditions. But these drivers are all challenging each other here in the midfield as well.
And we weren't lying when we were talking about how narrow those gaps were in qualifying, as Gladfelter able to get a pretty good run there out of 2. That's going to be Segala trying to fight back. Looks like he doesn't have it. That amazing little patch of grip coming out of 2 starting to die away for those midline runners. Justin Morton still lurking in the background. Looks like he's starting to lose a little bit of touch with these 2, but he may just be holding back as we cross over with just about 10 laps to go.
There's a few drivers that did out-qualify Bobby Rafferty, who is currently sitting in the lead. Billy Northcutt, Carl Kilgore, and Brendan Proudfoot. Only Proudfoot was able to make it here, unfortunately, but still an impressive showing from the qualifying times. And I definitely look forward to seeing these new drivers show up next season and maybe even, of course, again, put that challenge to Bobby Rafferty.
Well, I think with all the action we're seeing out here tonight, it is going to be certainly a good thing to check out for next year as we watch these leaders, 1, 2, 3, all going in a nice line. They all decide to go down to the low line as Speeds and Rafferty come up to a bit of a slider there. No advantage for Proudfoot at the back, so they're going to stay in single file.
Going to be going back now to the battle for position 8, and my oh my, it's still going on, and it's not really a bad thing. It could in fact be a battle for 7th place here, as well Chris Davis, or sorry, not Chris Davis actually, correction, it is for P8. Got a bit confused there for a quick moment, but Gladfelter still hanging on to it. Could be split 3 wide here up on the outside lane as Segala tries to go up top. Morton tries to go to the inside lane. These guys are not giving this. Oh, right in front of the leaders, there was a spin. 3 cars off turn number 2. Myers was one of them that was involved.
It was Shinuski and Brennan Myers. Leaders were able to escape it, so we are going to have our first neutralization of the field here as we jump back to a replay to watch what happened. You can see on your screen, this is Brennan Myers checking up a little bit there, goes to the outside line, holds it. That's a little bit of an over rotation. Ooh, gets hard into the 73 of Chris Haslip, and that's going to collect Shinuski as well. So that's what caused that damage.
Going to be running on board the 73. Just looks to be again, just a racing incident. You see going to the inside. Not enough rotation, so he tries to bring it up. Myers tries to bring it down, and unfortunately there was just all of the real estate that was taken there, and that was directly in front of the leaders, but everyone just manages to get away with it.
Yeah, definitely a heart-in-mouth moment there for Bobby Rafferty, Steven Spies, and Brandon Proudfoot. But this is going to neutralize the field, Gary, as I think we start to pace up here. We'll maybe have a 3-lap shootout if my math is right, which as close as we've ever seen everything
Yep.
running. That's going to be great.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is going to be a battle and a half right here. Choosing the outside lane is Bobby Rafferty. Speeds on the inside. I don't know about that one, but we'll see how this goes, DJ.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen everybody going very high through 1 and 2, so that may be the right decision as the pace truck pulls off. Ready to go green, 3 to go at the line.
Bobby Rafferty on the outside, you're essentially defending champion. As of next season, he goes on the loud pedal. Steven Spies was able to challenge Rafferty during this race. On the inside lane, we could expect some slide jobs here, and everyone going every which direction, side by side for second, and just like that, it's Rafferty and Spies out front, side by side for third between Shepard and Proudfoot.
That was a mega start there from J.R. Shepard. He's able to position himself up into third and really be challenging for making this trifecta into a quad fight here. Proudfoot diving down to the inside. Spies trying to do everything he can to keep right up behind Bobby Rafferty. J.R. Shepard, though, not going away on Brandon Proudfoot.
Proudfoot slides it deep into the corner. He gets turned by Shepard in front of Chris Davis and just coming to the white flag as well. That could pretty much and will put the race finish under caution. We almost made it and contact was made. I'll get a replay momentarily after this, but my oh my, wow.
Oh, there's so much green flag running there. Just a little bit of contact. Is Bobby Rafferty now going to come across the line here? This is going to be the checkered flag. Rafferty wins. Steven Spies second and J.R. Shepard in third.
What a great run by Bobby Rafferty. Now, take a look at the replay here before we go into our post race. But great job by Rafferty, great job by Spies and everybody to only have 2 cautions. Here is our replay.
And you can see it here. This is Brandon Proudfoot down on the inside. That's J.R. Shepard to the outside of him. They dive down into turn 1. Proudfoot just gets a little bit too much rotation, a little bit too much speed coming through the corner. He tags up into Steven Spies, and that just causes the chain reaction in the back, collecting those cars. And so that's what caused to get him into the wall and give us that race-ending caution.
Well, we are going to go ahead and go to a quick post-race break before we go into our post-race show. You'll see some upcoming races here on GSRC, and we'll get an interview with your top 3. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back here at the virtual dirt track at Charlotte. Welcome back to the virtual dirt track at Charlotte, where we have wrapped up our season finale of the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series, and what an amazing finale it was. What incredible racing. And I still have no words for this here as we'll take a look at your finishing results because it's amazing. Brendan Proudfoot came home, or sorry, not Robbie Robinson. If I can learn to read correctly, there we go. Bobby Rafferty came home in the first place position. Second place was Steven Spees, and third place was J.R. Shepard. We'll get them in for an interview momentarily. Robbie Robinson finished in fourth place. Kenny Kibbe rounded out the fifth place position. Sixth place was Chris Davis. Seventh place was Gabe Gladfelter. Eighth place was Joe Segala. Ninth place was Justin Morton. And 10th place was Brendan Proudfoot after getting some contact with the 55 of Steven Spees.
Bringing the car home in 11th was Jeffrey Harden, followed by Matt Shinoski, Brendan Myers 13th, Chris Hazlip 14th, Bobby Hayes 15th, and Ryan Seneca, the last of your finishers, in 16th. Everybody else having some of those mechanical gremlins and not able to start the race.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get an interview in here now with your race winner, being that number 7 machine, Bobby Rafferty, for the 7th time this season. Bobby Rafferty has won 7 out of 11 races. And, well, Bobby, you managed to bring it home, but like you mentioned last week, and as I also mentioned here during the broadcast as well as with DJ, it's that, well, you weren't really going down without a fight because you had a great challenge from Steven Spees, and you mentioned the challenges last week. Not sure if we have Bobby Rafferty, so
sorry about that, guys. I'm hitting the wrong button. No, like I've been saying all along, and I'll continue to say it. Competition's stepping up in this league huge. I mean, perfect example of that is if you look at Joe Segala's progression over just this season. I mean, he just gave Steven Spees a run for his money, a championship contender in that heat race. So it's continuously getting better and better and better and better. So, next season is going to be definitely a dogfight and one to watch.
It's going to be absolutely incredible. Of course, you round out your season with a win, of course, here at the dirt track at Charlotte. So I believe you even said last week that you wanted to get this crossed off your list, and you finally did it.
Yeah, I'm really happy to win this one, but it's definitely with a heavy heart. Unfortunately, my teammate Brandon Proudfoot lost his grandfather this past Sunday, so I almost kind of didn't want to win this one. I wanted to see him bag this win for his grandfather, but he was also able to get a absolute huge win in our Jim Beaver eSports Pro 2 showdown for our last qualifier for our World Cup series coming up next season. But that one right there is for Brandon's grandfather, and I have to send condolences out to his mom, his grandmother, his entire family, the entire team. Our hearts are with you, buddy, and we love you.
Of course, everyone's going to be hoping that Brendan does do well in the coming few days. But Bobby as well, do you have anyone else to give a shout out to for your race win tonight?
Yeah, of course. First and foremost, I got to thank Lil Jewel Bootleg Racing League for everything and that they do for us, all the hard work and hours that Lil puts into this and dedication. I've also got to give a huge shout out for, unfortunately, the last time to the cruise shop. They were a longtime sponsor of ours, a longtime supporter of ours, and we, again, like I just said about Lil, can't appreciate everything that those guys have done for us over here at BRL. Also got to thank my team, Jim Beaver Esports, Fistful of Bourbon, Champions Get Whiskey, baby. We got 2 more to go tonight. Think I'll clinch the late models just by showing up later tonight. In the sprint cars, it's going to be a dogfight between me and Steven Spees with 1 point between us. Also got to thank the Motorsports Drop, Sans Racing Fabrications, Down and Dirty Radio Show, Matt Everhart, 07 Designs, all of my teammates, everybody that helps us put this deal together. I appreciate all you guys.
And thank you for your time as well. Congratulations on the race win once again. And, well, we hope to talk to you again next season. And we'll pass it off to DJ Clark now, who's standing by with Steven Spees.
Well, Steven, I know you would have liked to have walked away with the win tonight, but I got to tell you, from the booth, that looked like some of the most fun racing I've seen all season long.
Yeah, that was definitely a good time. I was just actually watching it back before you guys pulled me to the booth here, and I remember during the race, I got out there in front and had a line that was working, and I was kind of getting worn out, just having to focus so much between Bobby and Brandon there, and trying to keep it clean and close, good racing. And I was like, man, we ought to be getting close to done. And we were like 15 laps in. So I made one just little mistake. I took too high of a line, got off the line I had been running. Bobby snuck under me, and that was it.
Well, I actually wanted to ask you about that. It looked like you had this sort of miracle spot coming off of turn two that you just, normal logic is you've got the outside line, you've got the momentum, but you were just able to get the car perfectly positioned off of two to just blast down the back straightaway. Talk me through that.
Yeah, if you look at and it's not just this track. I was kind of doing this at Volusia last week when I had good speed too. There's a pretty good strip of moisture coming through like two right in the middle of the track, and to a lesser degree, but similar out of four. If you can keep the car real straight, so slow your entry a little bit, and just kind of get right up into that, and as soon as your car gets onto that moisture, you can put all the gas in it, since these things are a bit underpowered, and like you said, it takes off like a rocket there, and does really well. And sometimes I struggle running right up on that cushion on that wall. Bobby and Brandon are both better at that than I am, so I make too many mistakes. So if I can find that other line and make it work, it's great.
Well, it was a whole heck of a lot of fun to watch you do it tonight. Before we let you go, though, Stephen, anybody you need to thank?
Yeah, definitely. I want to say thanks to the Cruise Shop for a longtime sponsor of BRL, and making the broadcast possible. Jim Beaver eSports for coming on the last couple of seasons here for the street stocks. Thanks to my team, Gambler Motorsports, and congratulations to Bobby on his championship in the win tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Stephen. And now our last interview for the night and for the season. Gary Weaver is with third place finisher J.R. Shepard.
Here with Jared Shepard, who rounds out his season with another podium once again. But what a great job, as well as a podium position in the point standings, outrunning Chris Davis after coming into tonight. JR, it was a great night for you.
Yeah, it was a clean night overall, except for there at the end, and feel extremely bad for Brandon. He ran top three all night and certainly deserved to finish up there. There's no way I was going to be able to catch him in that long run, and he was just in the wrong position on the restart there, and it put him in a bad spot going into three, and I couldn't avoid him, unfortunately. But he definitely deserved to be in the top three. So I hate that contact happened, but other than that, it was a pretty clean night.
Especially for you, since you were out in no man's land up until the first caution. So running around and just watching the battles in front of you and being relatively alone, what were your thoughts, especially considering the fact that, well, really had no one in a sense to battle directly with?
Yeah, it's a comfortable spot to be in for sure. You're just turning laps, and I was moving around trying to find a line that would run a little bit faster. But those guys that were running in the top three there, they're extremely good at being able to run the top or run the very bottom, and that's where the moisture really stays and where you can get a lot of grip at. And I've just not figured out how to do that the way those guys do. So it was nice to be behind them close enough that I could see what they were doing and try to learn from it, and stuff that I can try to practice moving forward.
Moving forward into next season, before we go ahead and let you shout out those who helped to get this third place finish, going into next season, your thoughts?
Oh, it's, like Bobby said, it's going to be a tough season. Some of the guys missed races this year and cost them with points, and then you've got several guys that are gaining each and every week. So the field's closing up, and some guys had some connection problems tonight, but if everybody had shown up, we are going to have a huge field tonight. So it's just getting better and better here, and it's going to be tough next season. So stay tuned.
Before I go ahead and let you go and prepare for next season, go ahead and shout out those who helped you get it done tonight.
Yeah, just big thanks to Low Jewel and the Bootleg Racing League, giving us a place to race on Friday nights and again on Saturday nights also. And want to really thank the Cruise Shop for being a great title sponsor, and they're also in my car on Saturday. So we're really thankful that they've been around for as long as they have, and we hate to see them go. But we've got some more great partners and people that are looking for us. So yeah, we'll keep moving forward, and just thank you guys also for everything you do in the broadcast booth.
Thank you for your time, J.R. Shepard. Congratulations on your third place.
Yep, thank you guys.
Before we sign off, DJ, just what a race and what a season this has been.
Yeah, Gary. I mean, this has been absolutely the best of the best when it comes to dirt racing. Obviously Rafferty really able to just exert some dominance over the field at certain points. But, I know Brandon had to step away for a couple of races to go racing in real life. And obviously some guys had to come and go here and there. But I echo the sentiment that we've heard a lot tonight, which is the fact that next season in the Bootleg Racing Series, Dirt Street Stocks, it's going to be insane. I cannot wait to watch it.
It's going to be absolutely incredible to look ahead for. And well, while we wait for that, luckily we do have a few other races here. But, well, first we'd like to thank Beaver eSports for having their sponsorship of tonight's heat races. Remember that you can follow the team at JimBeaverEsports.com, or you can visit them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up with their drivers and iRacing World Championships, private leagues, and so much more. And we'd also like to give a shout out of our own to the Cruise Shop for being a longtime sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. You can contact them at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. Remember that the Cruise Shop is dedicated to fulfilling their clients' dreams one destination at a time. Thanks to the Bootleg Racing League for having us continue coverage of their league events. And you can also see the companies that provide the software and hardware that allow us to do these broadcasts listed here on your screen. Additional thanks goes out to June Lalonde, who provides our incredible music. And if you're interested in having her provide some of her amazing music, you can contact her at the link on the screen or in the description below. Make sure to take note of races going by on your screen, but if you want to see what we have upcoming even more, we have an expanded list at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can go ahead and follow our various social media accounts. Our Twitter is at GSR Channel, our Facebook is Global Sim Racing Channel, and our Instagram is at GSRC_Grand. Finally, if you'd like to support the channel, go check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storenvy.com. You can also follow the link below in that description. While you're down there, don't forget to hit that bright red subscribe button as well as the notification bell, and make sure to set your preference to all so you don't miss a broadcast here on GSRC. If the button is already gray, we're glad you're enjoying our broadcasts, and we thank you for your continued support. As we wrap up from the virtual dirt track at Charlotte, we'd like to congratulate Bobby Rafferty on his race win. And it's going to be an absolutely incredible season next year, essentially, I think. Well, on behalf of the team today, co-commentator DJ Clark, director Sean Ambrose, and camera provider Dougie Beard, I'm Gary Weaver, and we thank you for tuning in to the Bootleg Racing League's 6th season of the Dirt Street Stock Series on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.